every Bohemian. I am FC Lost Media, and today we'll be talking about some of the most obscure FECs in Roblox. Once again, we will be going from the least forgotten to the almost completely unheard of. Some may be recent, and some may be prehistoric, and some might even just be legends. Midges was a fairly popular FEC that opened from 2018 to 2019, using the character Midgie from the game Spore as their main mascot. Created in August of 2018, the first location was in Irving, Texas, and had a Studio C stage knockoff. But the location closed due to unknown reason only 2 weeks after opening, although the stage was reused for a new location in Greeley, Colorado. The third location, located in Arlington, Texas, housed a one stage, also called Space Stage, and had 2 floors. However, the location was also closed for unknown reason in February 2019 after Mismatch Entertainment, the company who owned Midges, filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and sold their assets to numerous people. Greeley was the last location to close, and Mismatch Entertainment ceased all operations on February 23, 2019, and most former employees went on to work for Beach Bear Inc. But what the hell happened? Why did all of Midges suddenly close out of nowhere? One of the most logical explanations is that Mismatch, the creator of Midges, was arrested for filming in a Chuck E. Cheese during a child's birthday party. Claim from an anonymous source says the video used to be on YouTube for a short time before the authorities took it down, and described it as the most uncomfortable shit they had ever witnessed of their life. As in the video, Mismatch was approaching the walk-around Chuck, dancing with the kids, and getting really close to him to get every details on video, including the kids too. She also filmed the manager trying to kick her out as he was wearing a rare 1993 Chuck E. Cheese pizza manager outfit, which some still claims does not exist. After the incident, Beach Bear Inc. transformed into Shior, S-H-I-O-R, and somehow got their hands on the Midgie brand. They claimed to be working on a new location, but instead they went on to rape a famous bigwig in real life, which I will not name to keep safe. S-H-I-O-R, that's a stupid name, stayed silent until a popular small wig pop game became owner of Midgie by saying so. The Shior staff went absolutely nuts and attempted to rape Pop Game, but thankfully failed as, quote, he ran unimaginably fast, end quote. Midges had a short comeback at Showbiz Pizza Place Montfort with new designs by Pop Game, which he was not very satisfied with and so quickly got rid of. And nobody has heard about Midges since. Paris was an Italian FEC that opened in 2019, created by Mario. You may know him for creating the long-lasting Banjo Billies franchise in Roblox, or for getting exposed as a pedophile. Mario used his dog, Perry, as the main mascot of the restaurant. Shortly after its creation, Mario gave out the rights to Perry's to Merlin Engineering, Pop Games Company, as at the time they were close friends. Pop Game then improved Perry's by adding more animatronics, theming, and roleplay nights. The bots were actually retrofits of Kami's Chuck E. Cheese Cyberamics, and they looked like that. Despite looking like shit, famous bigwig Big C and Kami himself were amazed at these retrofits, claiming these were the greatest things they had ever seen, and even went on to beg Pop Game to have the bots so they could study his technique. Pop Game accepted in condition the two bigwigs would grant him access to view their inventories, which they gladly accepted. In January of 2020, Pop Game opened a new Paris location featuring new bots and even a small dark ride, which was actually a retrofit of the Tunnel of Love featured in the Los Angeles Pop Game Love Place location, which had closed the year earlier. After Merlin Engineering went bankrupt in February 2020, all of Perry's location closed and the FEC was never heard of again. Until 2021, when Mario, the original creator, attempted to bring back Perry's as an independent FEC, using the bots from his previous Banjo Billies and retrofitting them into new characters. Mario later co-operated with Catalyst for a new store, which featured the characters of Marty McBundle and Rai J. This is actually because after Rihanna was expelled from the community, Catalyst became obsessed with them being public domain, and Catalyst wasn't the only one who took advantage of that. But that's a subject that would need its own video. After this, Perry's completely disappeared and Mario passed away in September 2024. In 2021, J6 partnered with ESM Entertainment to create a new beach-themed FEC titled Beaches. There is actually a possibility that more Beaches stores were made before the partnership, but information is extremely scarce. In fact, if it weren't for the old messages in the Oscartainment server, there probably would be no proof of its existence at all. During development, Nick GT, the owner of ESM Entertainment, along with other bigwigs, claimed that Beaches was insanely laggy and almost unplayable, despite only having one documented bot. This is actually due to the ridiculously large size of the building, which had a total of 38 rooms, including a surfing simulation, a carnival room, a bakery, a mini-golf, a pool, a train, an adult room featuring Spiffy, a rental room, and even a room dedicated to meeting the owner. Before you ask, no, this is not a joke. This is actually what they were going for. Clearly, J6 had little to no experience with FEC developing, because anyone who has made at least one FEC in their life would know how easily Roblox can lag with too much assets in one game. Bitches was delayed an uncountable amount of times until the project was completely abandoned and ESM got rid of the partnership due to inactivity. You might or might not have heard of Chester Cheese. Currently a popular Chuck E. Cheese bootleg, open 24 hours out of 7. Its creator, Camille, was once one of the most popular bigwigs in the community, and even used to date Rihanna. In his younger days, he loved dressing up as this bunny girl character he had invented, named Cotton, and often claimed she was his proudest creation. Years later, in 2024, Camille finally decided to work on a new FEC for Cotton, titled Collimors, meaning coal dust, and more being short for the Greek word mori, which is a sort of vocative familiar call to a female friend or acquaintance. The connection with coal dust remains unclear, although some symbolism has been spotted in some of the few existing photos of the obscure FEC, such as this sign hanging above the exits with a framed picture of Quagmire from the TV show Family Guy. The name Quagmire being actually a definition for soft, wet ground. This may possibly reference the preparation of the Philosopher's Stone, as watery solvents are crucial to the processes involved in philosophically purifying the materials that would make inside the philosophical egg. In a nutshell, Collimors is not just an FEC, but a digital Freemasonic ritual, as the Freemasons' love for the Philosopher's Stone is well known nowadays. It's obvious as possible. Just notice the recurring checkered floor, symbolism for the duality of life that a Freemason must happily endure. Could this be the reason why Aya suddenly tried to hide the existence of Collimors? What could have possibly led Camille to work on a digital Freemasonic ritual using his childhood bunny character? Could it be that Camille was seeking to visit the interior of Earth, purify it, and find the hidden stone? Could it be Collimors was never meant to open? Could it be Collimors was actually a private chamber of reflection? A private chamber of reflection dedicated to a bunny character. As in the Masonic system, the symbol of the bunny can represent Osiris, the Egyptian god of death. Why was Camille seeking to be reflected by Osiris? And why pass it off as an FEC to the public instead of just keeping it private? The Masonic system is a complicated system. I guess you could say this is just a rabbit hole a little bit too deep for us to even handle. Joe's is yet another obscure FEC which appeared out of thin air during 2021. Although the main character, Joe, might have made some previous appearance as a band member at Meister Burgers. We know this because not only is the hair the same, but his workaround at Meister's is literally named Joe. Shortly after Rihanna was exposed in 2020, Joe partnered with ESM for Joe's Pizza and Arcade, getting on posters and stuff. Unlike Bitches, we don't have a single picture of the FEC, nor do we have confirmation it ever even opened. However, during my research, I found out that Joe secretly got in touch with Rihanna, who at the time was still exposed to have advanced technology such as, quotes, working boats, end quotes. Miraculously, a video of this working boat has been found and will now be shown for the first time since 2021. Judge for yourself. As you can see, this working boat is actually nothing but a baby getting lifted in the air and kicking his feet in the void. Nick, the owner of ESM, saw this and showed how easily he could actually make a working boat by welding the base hinge cylinder to his avatar using B-tools. Personally, I think it's a shame this wasn't used more. I'm sure there could be a lot of fun ways to implement this in modern days FECs. But let's move on. Some assets for Joe's were shown off at Big's Expo in 2021, and possibly some other expositions forgotten. After this, nobody heard of Joe's again, until Robocon 2024, last year, when Joe's returned with a new booth. But instead of Joe's Pizza and Arcade, guests will find a chicken roaster and some Kiss merchandise. Except this time, it was renamed to Abyss. Nobody knows why this happened, and I don't know why there was Abyss merchandise. And the fate of Joe's remain unclear, as ESM has shut down in February 2025. In this video, it's been clear that the big wigs tend to leave guests with little to no info, hyping up openings and showing off assets only to disappear without a word. Most of the time, these FECs remains forgotten forever, and sometimes the creators will come back and rape you. As the FEC community, Michael Jackson Final Dream is now vanishing forever, I wish to archive these memories for future people who may possibly get curious about these ruins, once a great utopia of clans and achievements, and now just a pile of rocks and legends. Good night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, every Bohemian. I am FEC Dead Media, and I just wanted to let you know that. What the hell are you doing here? I just want to let everyone know. No. This is my channel. You can't do that here. But it's not your channel. This is my channel. Get out, man. But it's good news. It's about FC, you know. Then go do it on your channel. But I don't have a channel. Right. You said it's about FEC? Yeah, I did. But isn't FEC dead? Well, it's supposed to be, but look at this.
I miss you guys. Flooding something soon.
Say what?